Okay, let's start with the second class, that is called as Anthoceropsida, or we do call them as hornworts. So in hornworts, normally what happens, now these organisms have horn-like sporophytes. Suppose this is the body of the organism, and from the body of the organism we find the horn-like sporophytes develop. As the horn-like animal, horn-like sporophyte develops, for which these are called as the hornworts. So these are horn-like structure. So these are the horn-like structure that develops from the body of the gametophytic plant, or the body of the, for which we do call them as, that is hornworts. So these are the gametophytic plants and these are the sporophytic plants. Now let's move to this general feature. So normally bryophytes, these group of bryophytes are called as hornworts because the sporophyte looks like horn-like appearance. And as usual, the plant body is a thallus. So what is thallus? That is not differentiated into leaf, stem and root. So the plant body is not differentiated. You are unable to differentiate which one is leaf, which one is root, and which one is, that is, stem. So normally the scales are absent, but as we have discussed in liverworts, we find the scales are present at the margins and they are multicellular in structure. But here what we find, the scales are absent. As a general character, in hornworts we don't find any scales are present. And rhizoids are present here, which is unicellular, it is also unbranched. And rhizoids are always present on the lower surface. Rhizoids are present on the ventral surface. Always rhizoids are found to be present on the ventral surface of the body. Now let's move into its thallus, or its plant body. So when we move into the thallus, as we know, thallus is not differentiated into stem, leaf and roots. So it is an undifferentiated thallus. No photosynthetic or storage zones are present. Means we find the thallus, the whole body acts as the photosynthetic and also helps in storage. But whereas in liverworts we find two zones are present, one zone for photosynthesis, one zone for storage. But here that is not the case. So it is not differentiated, single zone present, and they all do helps in photosynthesis and simultaneously storage. And we find each cell contains chloroplast and one pyrenoids. Every cells of this particular thallus or every cells of this plant organization contains chloroplast, yes, and one pyrenoid. So what is pyrenoids? Pyrenoids are the reserve food materials present inside the chloroplast. Means normally pyrenoids contains protein at the center surrounded by starch, and they do normally helps in, that is, storage. And this is the very vital function because it shows the algal character. So this condition is found in algae having pyrenoids as reserve food materials, and this particular hornworts show algal character. Now develop into the next part, that is called the sporophytic structure. So in hornworts we find only fruit and capsules are present. There is no seta. Why? Because we know that this is the gametophytic plant and this is the gametophytic plant, and we know these are the sporophytic plants. This is sporophytic plant. Here what happens? These sporophytic plants normally they contains attachment. So for attachment, that is the food present, but this was the fertile part, that is called as the capsule. So this is the capsule present and this is the food present. Got it? And this is the gametophytic plant. So as we know that this particular hornworts, they are also green in nature, means they can also produce food materials. They can also synthesize food materials. So hornworts are normally semi-parasites. They are not totally parasite. As in liverworts, the gametophyte, the sporophytic plant, 100% depends on the gametophytic plants. But here we don't find such conditions are present. Here we find that seta is absent. Yes, only the food and capsule is present, and the capsule is the horn-like structure, for which we do call them as hornworts. Yes, they have meristematic zones present and it also helps in continuous development. Due to the presence of meristematic zone in the capsule differentiate, and as a result, it helps in growing very fast like a horn-like structure. Now let's move into its nutrition. So the nutrition normally we discuss they are semi-parasite, means sporophyte also are photosynthetic but partially, not 100%. And also they depends on gametophyte for water and for habitat. Got it? The sporophyte is a photosynthetic, very important point, that in Anthoceropsida, or that is hornworts, we find the sporophyte can produce food, that is they are photosynthetic. So they are semi-parasite, but they depend on gametophyte for water and habitat. And tissue contribution, as we have discussed in that, in the liverwort, same as Amphithecium present, Endothecium present. Amphithecium helps in the formation of spore wall and spores, and Endothecium helps in the formation of elaters only. And here the elaters are not true elaters, they are false elaters, so called as pseudoelaters. The structure is similar to elaters, true elaters. But true elaters are spirally bonded, they are spirally bonded. But here there is no spiral thickening bands are present. Got it? And this only helps in spore dispersal. Got it? They are pseudoelaters because they are not spirally bonded. Because true elaters are spirally bonded, but this elaters is only very simple in structure. But they do help in spore dispersals. Now this Anthoceros has algae-like character. Very important. What? Now they are jacketless archegonium present, that is the female sex organ. They have 1 to 2 per cell, and they also contain pyrenol. These 3 points indicates that they have algae-like resemblance, algae-like character. That is, evolutionary significance means they show ancestral character. Very important. And this bryophyte is sometimes called as the synthetic archegoniate. So Anthoceropsida is sometimes, or hornworts is sometimes called as synthetic archegoniate. Let's go for the example, Anthoceros and Anthoceros. So this is all about the algae, the bryophyta that is called as Anthoceros or hornworts. Thank you for watching.